Yes, okay. So, kachako nyinga Victoria, an wuod Nyakach, Nyakach Kadianga. Kadianga mawao. Kung'e kama Sondu Miriu project through Diboro School kanyo. Mane kama, mane gweng'wa. To, asomo dala, school moro no Banda, then adhi Nyabondo High School. Bang' kanyo to adhi Kenyatta University to timo biochemistry. Graduate 2011. And then, kanye ma interest na mar cancer nochako peak. Nikech naneno ka ji mang'eny manotieko ne dhi timo virology or microbiology to gigo ok ne mora. Koro I took a different course and I decided to maybe it's time to focus on this cancer. So then I applied for Commonwealth scholarships. I was successful with one. And England, that's where I did my master's. I did my master's in something called medical diagnostics. And my master's project was on cancer. Koro mane moduogo tiela kabisa. Koro katieko taduogo dala, and then atiyo Technical University as a tutorial fellow for 1 semester. Tawacho ni ma ok tich, ma ok gima neno kadwa timo e ngimana nyaka chieng'. And then from there I did CPE for 8 months, and then from there awera gi manatimo CPE go nikech ne pod gidwoka e virology. So I went to Germany, in a city called Freiburg and south, close to the Swiss border. And that's where I did my doctoral degree in cancer biology. And specifically, Kanyo, I was studying pancreatic cancer. I finished in 2018, and then Dugo Dala Martin for 2 months, UAO. Then I went to the US. I was in Yale University for 2 years. I was working with a professor who was working on melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer. So specifically, anyone interested on melanoma ma kochako spread to the brain. So something called brain metastasis. Kora tiko kanyo 2 years, then COVID obiro, tawinjo ka no an mabor gi dala, then kora biro Denmark. Koro Denmark kaindi, I'm still a cancer biologist, but now nimatimo kaindi, I'm still focusing on cancer, but I'm focusing on a very special relationship between the actual cancer cell that is growing and the blood vessels that supply the growing tumor. Koro gin gik moko ma technical mokadwa wacho ka nikech jibro lal, but how do these two communicate? Nikech for a cancer to spread, nyaka donje blood system mondo dhi kamoro. Koro nyiso ni these two cells, the growing cancer cell and the blood vessel, nyaka giwuo, nyaka gilosi mondo yiene cancer cell no donje iye, orenge remo, odhi kamoro. Koro mane gima timo ka. Emomiyo koro koluonga kaendi, to ma en gima koro asetimo for the last 10 years. Ok anyal wacho na alony ahinya, but ang'eyo ni ei grubwa kaendi, beta berbere moingo jika e wachni. Koro anyalo puonjo matin kawuono. James, do natieke gi kanyo?
Itieko maber, to ere kaka inyalo golo jok nadwa wacho ni ilobo ni kilony, kik iwach ni ok ilony ahinya. Ere kaka inyalo kwalo jok na daktari. Erokamano. Koro ka watudo gi wach mani wacho mokwongo cha ni yawo pap maber to nuona ne jogi ni what's cancer, nikech ing'eni wachake chaka basic kanyo to kikiterwa tiang' ahinya nikech ning'eye mang'eny. Koro in keta basic what is cancer, nyiswa ne types moko alafu nyisa rates gi prevalence.
So cancer is just the uncontrolled growth of cells in your body. You know, kind of different organs. So different organs have got different types of cells. So the basic definition of cancer, tendeni, you have uncontrolled growth of your body cells. Nikech your cells, chalo mtoka nigi accelerator to gi brake. Sami igo speed cha, tinyono accelerator. To kineno ka jam ni mbele kata police ni mbele, tichako nyono brake. That is the same thing that happens in our bodies. As the cells grow, they are on an accelerator. But nitiere break moro ei cell. Waluonge ni P53. Mano kaka iluonge. Ng'eya kamano. Inyalo ndike kamoro kase inyalo dhi some kata Wikipedia. Iluonge ni P53. It is the master break that controls the cell division process. Mondo your cells not to overgrow, then this P53 keto stop moro kanyo to wacho ni isedongo moromo koro chunka. Koro inyalo chako timo gik moko. So when cancer happens, these breaks are lost. That's the basic way I can put it without being so technical. These breaks are lost, so the cells just grow. Nikech onge gima nyalo stop gi from growing. Yeah. And then cancer, you can divide it broadly into many types. Inyalo name a cancer depending on the organ that it grows in. Koro inyalo wacho gimoro kaka breast cancer, cancer of the breast, lung cancer, brain cancer, bone cancer, and so on. But inyalo kendo divide cancer into 5 subtypes depending on gimoro mwaluongo ni histology. Koro histology tiende niya, what cell type is it attacking? Now I'm not talking about the organ, koro I'm talking about the cell type. Dendika in different types of cells. Intiere gi epithelial cells, which are the majority. Koro cancer that affects epithelial cells, mano waluongo ni carcinomas. Kaso intiere gi usewinjo ng'ato nigi leukemia kata blood cancer. Wan gi cancers of the blood, ma generally I'll call leukemias. But depending on the type of blood cell magi attack or the severity of the disease, ibro winjo nyinge moko ma complex kaka myeloid leukemia, lymphoid leukemia, and so on. Kata kise winjo jatuo tineno kondikte gima chalo kamano. Koro nitie different subtypes mag mago. Wantiere gi another circulatory system in our body. Nikech wan gi the blood circulatory system, to wan gi the other circulatory system mane wasome biology miluongo ni the lymphatic system. Aparo ni kanu kalo school kata unyalo pare. Koro the lymphatic system bende is attacked. It can be cancerous. So the type of cancer ma attacked the lymphatic system iluongo ni lymphomas. Emomiyo seche moko iwinjo ka nitie cancer miluongo ni Hodgkin's lymphoma kata non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Alafu in gi another cancer miluongo ni sarcoma. Sarcoma is a type of cancer that attacks the connective tissues kaka bone, fat, muscle, cartilage. Mago iluongo ni sarcomas. And then mogik wan gi moro miluongo ni myeloma. Myeloma is a special type of cancer that attacks the plasma cells. Plasma cells gin cells maloso remo. Ochako from the bone marrow. Koro all cancers inyalo pog into these 5 big categories, but each of those categories nigi many subcategories depending on so many factors ma I will not go into right now. What be the prevalence? Prevalence of cancer, saniwa wachoni is usually breast and cervical ema. But gini bende is dependent on what has been diagnosed. Gimosebedo diagnosed ema koro nioko kacha. But generally, one gi breast, cervical, lung, prostate, and colorectal cancers, some of the 5 biggest cancers prevalent around the world. But kibiro into specific pockets, like kidhi Kenya, let me use Kenya as an example, nikech Kenya kama wantiere. Ibro nwango ka in women, cervical cancer is the most prevalent. And then in men, it is prostate cancer. But kidhi in certain communities, kaka in Meru County has got, or the Meru people, they have the highest prevalence of stomach cancer in the world. I came across a paper that said something like that. And biro kata mana area ma Kericho, Nandika, tinwango ka gin gi more of esophageal cancer. The Lake Basin region, a lot of Burkitt's lymphoma. And that is also because that's a malaria endemic zone, and the two coexist together. Kama malaria nitiere, bende yudo this Burkitt lymphoma is also prevalent, and so on. Prevalence, wanyalo tiyo gi national databases to wacho ni, okay, this is the most prevalent, but it's important to look at it especially in a multicultural society like ours. Berking here pockets, what is ailing maybe the western part of the country, what is ailing the coastal part, what is ailing the central part, the highlands, and so on. But generally in Kenya, cervical breast are the most prevalent in women. Kibire mankind in prostate and esophageal cancer. We are taking Kenya. Wadwok penjo mar host no. When let me start at birth or at conception, when the sperm and the egg meet. When the two meet, they form one cell called a zygote. Zygote ni mondo bed nyathi makore nyalo nyuol mo nyalo tingo mo mi nying. Nyiso ni nyako divide. But it starts as a single cell that then divides into different portions. But koro gik kamoro ma your genetic system or the genetic system of the zygote now tells it no, this cell type should make the bones, this cell type should make the brain, this cell type should make the hands, the back, the spine, and so on. Koro tiende ni cell division in the body, it is in a system of checks and balances. Okonego bed ni odhi mos ahinya, to okonego bed ni odhi piyo ahinya. Kodhi mos ahinya, to inwang'o ka ibedo gi growth and developmental defects. Kodhi piyo ahinya, ken inwang'o ka you have this growth and developmental defects. Koro it's the same in a grown person. Nikech every day this process of cell division takes place. Nikech nitiere cells madongo moseti, they have to be killed off. To nitiere the new ones that have just been made that need to take over the process of the body. Koro nyiso ni all these processes nitiere a system of checks and balances. And for you to grow or mondidongi, your cells have to divide. So this division process nyaka bed controlled. Emomiyo nitiere accelerator. Accelerator nyise ni koro sani adwa ni mondo i undergo division nikech nitiere gima wadwa loso. Maybe mabati ong'adi. Ka mabati ong'adi, to nyaka new skin form there to cover the wound kata komiyi yath. But koro ka skin osebedo, ka the wound osebedo covered gi the skin, to you know the body koro nyiso the cells mane grow kanyo ni now it's time to stop growing. Nikech wasetimo gima nwadwa ni mondo watim. But when that system of checks doesn't work anymore, nyiso ni cells go gichako grow, so they just grow and grow and grow. I know I'm putting it in a very simplistic way, but I think we as biologists, it's a very complex process. It is not as easy as I'm trying to put it, but money is the simplest way manya locate.
No, erokamano. To wadwaro simplest no, nikech kae ji ng'eny to aneno ka jakom ni kacha to kobi winji kitere ahinya, iti complex ahinya. Abe an gi follow up. Iwacho ni cervical gi mar tuoche iluongo nang'o ni prostate are the biggest in terms of prevalence rate. Adwa penji two-part question. Number one, young no any, why do you think that's the case? Number one. And then number two, what are the risk factors of those two? It seems like both of them are to do with reproductive systems. And then koro penjo cha mar pocket cha ema kendo gimani wacho cha ema kendo adwani mondo wabeye e piny luo. Young no any, which ones are the prevalent ones? To why, or you are predictive, you are informed guess, ama you informed reasons mom yo gigo gen prevalent korwa. Erokamano Victor.
Yes. En penjo matek. En penjo matek. Anyalo wacho ni cervical cancer in among women. It is one of the cancers as much as we say ni uncontrolled cell division can cause it, it's also one of these cancers that is caused by a virus. Now, we say we in your HPV virus, version 16, 18, and some others. In any virus causes you attack your cervical cells to or elicit an immune reaction. And that overinflammation of the area, nikechitemo fight a virus, can cause some problems with your cell division mechanism processes, and then it just becomes like a cancerous tissue and so on. But again, it is not as simple as I'm putting it, and it doesn't happen like that in every case. But in uterine cervical cancer is very prevalent. One, our sexual practices. Yeah, this is one of those cancers that is caused by a virus, and this virus specifically lives in the reproductive region of both men and women. I mean, WHO, together with some other companies, developed a HPV vaccine. Midwaro ni miyo kata mana nyithindo manyiri between 10 years and 15 years kapok gibedo sexually active, because then that one gives them immunity against that virus and lowers their chances of getting HPV. You could still get HPV because of some other, I mean, you could still get cervical cancer because of some other inherent systems in your body, but not because of the virus. Kabire prostate ka to en mana age. Because again, the prostate gland is one of those glands ma tiyo tich mang'eny kabisa. It constantly needs to expand and contract, samutingo large. Koro nyiso ni the repair system kanyo endo bende tiyo mang'eny. So samiriembo mtoka mang'eny to nyiso ni idhi e garage sate. And so it's just the same case. When a part of your body is working a lot, then there's the level of cell division there is also very high. So chances of ng'ato timo imiyo makanika pesa ni mondo odhi ong'iew ni original windshield to dhi kama windi okelo moro. That's also what happens in the body. It is just something like that. So prostate cancer is prevalent because of as we age, it's one of those things. Makata kaindi kineno kigik gongo 50 years to chuno ni koro chak dhi hospital for checkup, itimo ni prostate checkup, itimo ni colon checkup, because those are cancers that are very prevalent, especially in men as they start aging. Yeah. Kwabiro kaluo, okanyal wacho ni ang'eyo the most prevalent cancers there nikech in Kenya we suffer so much from data. Data onge. Data onge. De wabed gi data to nanyalo wacho with surety ni this is what is happening in Luo Nyanza. But gimang'eyo, just from an educated guess, is that Burkitt's lymphoma, especially in the malaria endemic region, that is a major type of tumor people in the Luo Nyanza region face. And then again, cervical cancer could be another one, simply because of our sexual practices kaka joluo. Koro manoendo king'iyo kaka the HIV epidemic no sweepwa nikech nwahero achiel ariyo adek. Koro manoendo would also make cervical cancer be one of the prevalent things in Luo Nyanza. To one personally, kata mana gweng'wa, I know many young women ma otho kata very young, 30, 40, 50, ma kitimo autopsy post death tinwang'o ka the cervical area is totally rotten, tiende ni mano cervical cancer. But inwang'o ka the diagnostic systems, especially in the local hospital, nikech ing'eni seche moko kidhi hospital to in wiyi mabari, koro daktari miyi yadh wich bar, to kare ok ong'i the totality of the symptoms, especially in the level 2, 3 hospitals go. ok ong'i the totality of symptoms. Koro imiyi yadh wich bar kata imiyi yadh fever kata ich muor to kare gini to chami achama mos mos. So by the time they discover it, tinwang'o ka ose spread to the spine, iluongo nang'o, ng'eyi rami seriously, or osedhi into the lungs. Koro kata seche moko tifuolo remo, kane en gima ose spread. Nikech cancer, as long as ose spread, to thiedhe koro tek. Koro in ng'at ma koro wakwano ne mana ndalo, ineno? Yeah. Koro watiek gi kanyo.
Erokamano. Onywera aneno kiting'o badi lakini miya thuolo matin akwongo ami joma ni co-host gi host wapenje penjo for another 15 minutes alafu abiro miyi thuolo mokwongo Onywera. Erokamano. Nana?
An nikech koro Victor o mention kar ka thieth kanyo, koro nadwaro ni o differentiate na gimoro nitiere mawinjo ga ni en chemotherapy gi radiology. Are they one and the same thing? Koso gin two different things to gitiyo nade e thiedho cancer?
Chemotherapy, as the name says, mano nyiso ni it's a chemical type of therapy. Nyiso ni miyi some drug mondo othiedh cancer. And then radiotherapy, tiende ni itiyo gi machine magolo some radio beams minyalo ti godo thiedho cancer. These two are still in the heart of cancer. Nikech ndalo mane wachako thiedho cancer, nineno cancer as gima ere kaka wanyalo nege. We wakaw chemical ni wachiw. Because the thing with cancer, kaka nawacho ni the cells are growing uncontrollably. Ngiso ni bende, as the cells grow, chiemo bende gi chiemo mang'eny. So they take in everything that is in their surrounding. Koro ki keto even the drug in the blood system, so they will take the drug quickly, but that drug is going to kill them. So that's how chemotherapy tiyo. But it has got a lot of side effects. Even your normal cells in other parts of the body are also growing, will also take in this drug. Koro mineno ka ndalo mane ithiedho ji gi chemotherapy, there were a lot of side effects. Your hair would fall off, seche moko ionge appetite, you're vomiting, nausea, and so on. And the same with radiotherapy. When they started, they were very crude because it was just hitting you with something. Ma wangeni agini kwa goi godo to odi go your cancer, but there are some other side effects manaki bed godo. Koro as a patient, you decide, okay, I can live with that or I cannot live with that. But right now, we've moved to a more precise level of treatment. Emomiyo kata seche moko ki isomo kata gazeti ibiro winjo gimoro ni personalized medicine, kata ibiro winjo gimoro ni precision medicine. Tiende ni wasefwenyo ni ka in gi cancer, nyaka wa understand ni cancer ni, what is the driver? Driver tiende ni ang'o mariembe? Nikech seche moko wanyalo ng'iyo, kwa ng'iyo your genetic makeup, twanang'o ka kar nyono mafuta tiyo maber, kar nyono break bende tiyo maber, but in gi cancer. Tiende ni cancer ni, gima riembe oken kar break gi kar nyono mafuta ka. Nitie gimoro machielo makoro nyaka wamany. Koro mae emomiyo wabire gimoro ni molecular characterization of cancer. Wadwa ng'eyo ni what is specifically driving this disease. So without going into so many things, wasefwenyo ni nitiere cancers ma the break onge. Wasefwenyo ni moko oyawo dhog gi malach, gin gi gik moko miluongo ni receptors mang'eny on the surface. Koro nyiso ni gin gichiema to gidhi, to gidhi. To moko bende wanwang'o ni nitiere mutation kamoro in your genetic system momiyo koro gidongo kamano endo, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Koro katieko to chemotherapy en mana kaka mana inyalo miyi antibiotic, kaka antibiotic tiyo kaka maybe chemotherapy bro tiyo, but radiotherapy is just a ray of beam from a radio machine that then is targeted towards the cancer to just kill it.
Erokamano maduong' daktari. Erokamano nana ibe. Koro ka wadhi mbele matin nikech aparo ni kata kapok wadonje thieth, aparo ni nitiere kama ni mulo laktar madwani mondo wawach matin. Ni wacho ni wach mar kansa ni nyaka wang'iye from different perspectives. Koro adwa duoki kanyo nikech iwacho ni driver nyalo bed ni en gik mopogore opogore. In my mind ka an gi lifestyle, an gi biology, kata kaka niwacho ni genes, an gi social economic status factors. Koro miwane kanyo, like what are some angles mo nyalo ng'iyo godo kansa ni, especially pertaining to lifestyle factors, socioeconomic factors, kata biological factors, kata medicine bi nyalo medo kanyo, Victor.
Yes. Koro, as a researcher, I will say there are things we call risk factors. Risk factors, these are things that if you do these things or if you don't do them, you have a higher chance of getting cancer. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's why we call them risk factors. And we should differentiate between risk factors and causal factors. Causal tiendenia, is doing this thing. And you've had cases of somebody does not smoke, does not drink, exercises every day, but en gi cancer. Ng'ato mer, omadho ndawa, ochamo ring'o mobul full time, okoringi, ochwe, they will live until they are 90, they don't have cancer. So these things, risk factors. Tiendeni, we cannot pinpoint exactly what is causing them. And that brings us to another theory, the genetic factor. So kind is where the molecular basis of cancer grew. So we started looking at inside the cancer cell, what is really happening in here. Kami an example of, for example, breast cancer. Watigi mano nikech manema wanyalo ng'eyo wate. In your breast cancer, you can classify it using different things. Number one, inyalo classify according to the receptors that they express. Emomi ibro winjo ni kidhi hospital kata seche moko kata kinena this breast cancer posters kamoro tineno kiwacho ni you are HER2 positive or you are HER2 negative. Tineni you are expressing a receptor called HER2 or not. Moko ibro winjo ka iwacho ni hormone positive or hormone negative. To hormones, one hormones mongere that drive breast cancer are estrogen and progesterone. Lony mar girwa mwatimo ni gibedo labeled as ER or PR. Kaso ibro yudo ni nitiere breast cancer miluongo ni triple negative. Tiende ni oonge the HER2 receptor, oonge the estrogen hormone, to oonge the progesterone hormone be. Koro en iluongo ni triple negative. Nitiere moko moboluongo ni inflammatory breast cancer. Tiende ni enena gima liet sekete. Inflammation. There's too much immune reaction or immune reactivity in the system. Koro iluongo ni inflammatory breast cancer. And so on and so forth. Koro inuang'o ka gimoro achiel ni ipoge ding'wen. Emomiyo kata mana even more than that. And then koro inuang'o ni kidhi hospital kata koro daktari kapok othiedhi. Tineno ka gikoni wakawo biopsy. Any biopsy no ikawo titere lab. The pathologist will have to examine this thing. Odwa ng'iyane ni, do you have HER2? Opimo HER2, oyudo ni ionge HER2. Okay. Ong'iyo progesterone receptor, ong'iyo estrogen receptor. Onwang'o ni in gi estrogen receptor but ionge progesterone gi HER2. Thieth midhi yudo opogore gi ng'ama en triple negative. Kata opogore gi ng'ama is just HER2 positive. Yeah? Chon nimiwa miya yath achiel with the hope ni gini dhi timore nade, gini dhi nego cancer no te. So with time iyudo ni ng'ani kata miya gini ok konye. Koro emomiyo companies started developing targeted therapies towards these different types of cancers. Kibiro kata mana lung cancer. Ibro nwang'o ni lung cancer nitiere gima wacho ni en receptor positive kata moro en gimoro iluongo ni RAS negative and so on. Gik mang'eny ma I don't want to go into it, but it's just the same thing. Imanyo specific drivers in the cell ma are allowing this tumor to grow with the hope that niki block that driver to koro gini timore nade, gini chung. Koro sama wacho ni nitiere multiple layers, kanye kama chakogo. Kapok othiedhi, ber king'eyo ni what type of cancer or what type of driver do you have. Mondo sama koro imiyi thieth, timiyi thieth e gima kare. Kabire second layer ka en research. Kama wadake Kenya, gi gik ma wachamo, gi kata kaka chieng' rieny and so on. Nitiere kaka yaw another field miluongo ni epigenetics. Epigenetics tiende niya, and something that is influencing genetic expression of your genes without necessarily changing the genetic makeup of your body. Edendi ka endi in gi gimoro miluongo ni DNA. DNA ni ochala tol. Then tol mo orunde mana kaka kane wachwecho. Ing'e kata kane ichweyo mama uchweyo sweta. Usicha nodolore gimoro. Koro e dendi be nigi gik modolore kamano ma DNA oluorore, iluongo ni histones. To histones gi, depending on the environment ma intiere, seche moko ginindo ataro, seche moko ginindo ka giumo wigi. And depending on kaka ginindo, it means your body behaves in a certain way. Koro mane miluongo ni epigenetics. To sama wa develop yath, magi are all these things that are checked. Ni ng'ani kimiyo yadhni, epigenetic profile ne chalo nade, be gini dhi konye, koso ok dhi konye. Koro, kwabire situation wan waling' aling'a, wan wagero dams gi 67 billion. Kia watimo ang'o. To ng'ato koni, to kawo pesa neno, to invest in research. Koro yadhno kokele mwalo kuno, to koti. Nikech this yadhni, it was never tested in a population like ours. Koro mano is the second layer. Tiende ni, for us to treat cancer in our context, it has to be accompanied by molecular research in our context. If we understand what is driving the disease in our context, then we can make medicine that serves patients in our context. Okwanyal kawo yath mobedo tested in Iceland, kata Alaska, kata Siberia, kuonde mang'ich. To wabiro, to wathiedho godo ji modak, Luo Nyanza, kama chieng' rieny 6 to 6. So it's humid and so on. Koro magi are all things that need to go into this discovery process, Maria. Emomiyo neno ga seche moko kata katimo ga twist tawacho ga ni yes, watemo thiedho cancer. Ibro dhi India, ibro dhi US, ibro dhi kanye. So as long as nitiere other drivers of your disease other than those that are causing the disease in the Caucasian population, to yadhego ok bi konyi. Ibro dhi tibro duogo, to wabro mana iki, tidhi mana kamano. Koro kata ka wan ka, to gima kwayo ni ma en lugha ma koro nego wachak wacho. We want to see cancer research prospering and being initiated in our context. Nikech mane gima bro konyowa. Sama wasechako develop kata mana yedhe locally, nyiso ni yedhe go will be cheaper. Nikech wa develop gi taxpayers money. Wa develop gi pesa jopiny. Koro japiny ma chulo taxes mondo these drugs will be developed, yudo gi at an affordable rate. Moloyo biro ng'iewo yath oko ma ok bi konyi nikech yadhno kane obedo developed, it was not tested in you. So mano second layer. Third layer and mano third layer of clinical trials. Kora achako gi the molecular aspect of the disease, casta biro into the drug discovery process, and then koro sani clinical trials. Nso ni yedhe gi bedo tested in a population that looks like you. And then koro ichakidwo ke lab ing'iyo ni ang'o miyo ne otiye jogi to kotiye jogi. Koro wachako stratify patients. Wawacho ni yadhni kwalose kama to dhi konyo jomeru. To mondo dhi okony jo Kisumo, koro nyaka waloke kama nikech kocha wayudo ni patients ma koni mani kata mana gi stomach cancer gi express gimoro ma jomeru onge godo. Koro yadhni nyaka waloke kama mondo dhi okony jogi. Koro it's a constant. There's need for a constant communication between, number one, doctors e hospital, patients, and researchers. Koro en an ecosystem is constantly feeding on each other. An kama tiye ka among the many things matemo, one of the other things mawatemo ni watiyo gi surgical pathologists at the Danish Referral Hospital ka. So they are trying to treat colon cancer patients with a certain mutation. Give me their biopsies to work grow a lab into cells, into just balls of cancer. And then what temo tiyo gi different medicines. Nyaneni manema kuwa kete gigi yendi to mono gidongo. And then we report the same back to the hospital. Wakono gi biopsy ni nwa temo yadni this combination no work. Koro the krechego they use the same combination to gineno ka ginyalo konyo ngano. Mano is what we need to do in our system. But in our system, the one problem aseneno ni dakteche behave kaka nyiseche matindo. Ineno. They are the alpha and omega. But aparo ni onego giduok ego gi piny matin, and they start having a relationship with researchers. Kagita bedo gi relationship gi researchers, then the questions that they cannot answer in the clinic, the researchers can answer in the lab. And then the researchers get back to them and tell them, no, atimo magi ma, koro inyalo konyo golo these patients kama. But that is not existence in our system. To mane momiyo asik samora mora makata kaneno kwa gero these referral hospitals ni Siaya nigi referral hospital, Busia, Vihiga, Kakamega, Kisumu. Ang'o mono uloso alosa referral hospital achiel to bed a referral and research hospital. Ok ni ena building moger gi glasses to kogo wigi kidi tinindo Nairobi hospital. Ineno. Obed ni ena hospital manyalo timo gimoro malongo. Where on one wing in the doctors and the nurses and patients nikono, and on the other wing in the researchers that are trying to respond to those questions. Meanwhile, even as they do basic research towards developing new medicines, manega kilosoyas. Okay, it just doesn't come from thin air. It is it is a meticulous and tiresome job by dedicated members of the public. Man kata ng'ato kodhi e supermarket to ng'iyo chiemo kata otimo shopping ne to kokalo kacha to neno box moketi ni by the Danish Cancer Foundation. We support cancer research in different universities to make medicines like A, B, C, and D. To bolo change ne kanyo. Pesa no ema bire labs koriwore gi part that the government gives through taxes mondo support research. Koro one Kenya, we have a good research culture, especially on infectious diseases. But kobiro e kar cancer ka, so it is almost non-existent. Yeah, and almost non-existent. One give the aspect of the patients, but without research to back it up, onge gima watimo. Watimatima teach no. Yeah, it means we will still be relying on medicines from abroad, which will work in some cases and will not work in other cases. Yeah, erokamano.
Erokamano ahinya. Aya, koro penjo mokwongo madwa apenji kae, I'll penji 3 questions, so if you don't have somewhere to write, I'll repeat them later. But number 1, answer the topic for us. Is cancer the new, with all that backdrop, mimi wa maberno, is cancer the new HIV AIDS in Luo Nyanza? Can you answer that for us? Mano penjo mokwongo. With that backdrop, mimi wa, which is fantastic. So is cancer the new HIV or AIDS? Number 2, in terms of treatment, give me, it's open-ended. Just talk about treatment in open-ended, and especially I want you to highlight the cost of treatment. Nikech gino se dio Kenya kabisa. So mane penjo mara rio. Penjo mogik. What is new? What is new research? Nikechinja research makataka uono gudio chieng ni timo research mar cancer. Koro what is new? What is some cutting edge gik moko minyalo nyiso manjo moko tim cancer research onego wange. So what is some new research? What's a new trend? What's something new ma science wacho? And what's the way forward? Ero kamano. Mago penjo adek. Number 1, answer the topic mawago ka uono mar is cancer the new HIV AIDS? Number 2, treatment, open-ended, especially focus on the cost of cancer. And then number 3, what's new in the research? Erokamano Victor. Alafu wabro yao pap.
Okay. Is cancer the new HIV/AIDS? I don't think so. I don't think it's the new HIV/AIDS. It's probably more complicated than that. Yeah. Koro okobinego G style my HIV/AIDS no UAOG, but engima will drain people, especially if they don't have an understanding. Tie it slightly to that. Jomani loka, you see palliative centers across different cities in Europe, in the United States, and parts of the Western world. Tiene palliative care, dakteche osedhionyiso jatuo ni onge gima wanyalo timo. Koro gima wanyalo timo, onge gima wanyalo timo mondo wathiedhi. Because we've tried what we can and we cannot. There is nothing to help you. Koro in iteri palliative care, timi mana pain reduction medicine. Irito thomari. Yeah. So that is also a reality. Maparoni jowa sometimes don't accept. Or ngama dano kose nyuoli. So as much as it is difficult, we have to accept ni tho ben gimo setim roknadi. And people die different types of death. Ntie joma bro tho kanindo, ntie joma tuo bro yuare godo, ntie joma bro tho e accident and so on. So I think that is something that we need to communicate to our people. You can never be cured from cancer. It is always lacking somewhere. You can get something called remission, tiendeni odio gole, but now you are under remission. Tiendeni the disease is not progressing. Oponda kamoro, but chieng moro onyalo chier, to kata chieng moro okonyal chier. Yeah. And personally, analuongega ni, I call it a living system within a living system. Tiendeni kaka seche moko ineno wondri ni during a war you have two militaries. This general pango kaka odwa dhi nego joka, to that general be pango kaka odwa dhi nego jogi. Koro seche ma imbe ine hospital gi cancer, to daktari pango kaka odwa thiedho cancer no. Cancer no bende kik ipano linga linga, nikech embe ong'eyo gimotimo. Embe opango kaka sama ng'ani dwa thiedha ni, I have to find ways of escaping this treatment. And in some cases, and again, this goes back to prostate cancer. Ibro nwango ka seche moko in gi cancer to daktari nyisi ni ok wabimule, wabro weya. Nikech olinga linga kanyo. Tiende ni kituge, kimule kata kitemo gole, to koro imoko mach. So it's just left there. Onge gimotimi, it will never grow, it will just stay there. I remember in US, we worked on a case of a 36-year-old woman, nengi skin cancer. And this is the type of skin cancer that spreads to the brain. She was diagnosed at 26. And then got him the MRI, CT scan, or me a clean bill of health. Koro at 36 years, ochako winjo headache. Koro dugo hospital. Koro kingi medical history mare tinwango ni en gi melanoma. Koro kotere for brain MRI, to nwanga cancer opong'o the brain. Tiendeni, this disease no se diolonje brain to pondo. Nitie gima miluongo ni dormancy. Odhi kamoro, kata kani di chiro, to koth obukie yo, te buok kamoro. Cancer seche moko timore kamano. It goes to a new organ, and then odhi opondo kanyo. Koro linga. It's just biding its time. And then chieng moro achiel to cheer, and it colonizes the whole organ. And that's another complex thing I will not probably go into. Koro kwabire kar treatments have evolved and they have improved. They have really, really, really improved. In fact, if you look at the last 10 or 15 years, more patients are living longer with cancer. There are only maybe 2 cancers that we've not really been successful in finding something for them. Mine is pancreatic cancer and brain cancer, glioblastoma. Magogin tuoche mako yudi godo to ingisi gani put your affairs in order. Nikech pancreatic cancer, it's deadly. out of every 100 people momako, it's going to kill 95 people. Brain cancer, the same. Out of every 100 people momako, only nego almost 91 people. Koro mago endo are very, they are deadly and they are lethal. And so for most of cancers, surgery is the best option if it's not spread. And then you can use chemotherapy, you can use radiotherapy, you can use precision therapy. And this is now after molecular characterization of the cancer, the driver. Then imanyoniat against that target. Then imi, to onyalo bedo combined seche moko gi radiotherapy, onyalo bedo combined seche moko gi chemotherapy, and so on. In terms of treatment cost, adok manakuma wachicha. If you're not making these medicines, of course, they're going to be costly for you. Nikech companies that make them have to make profit. So what we need to do is develop our own medical research ecosystem where we can research these things and develop our own medicines, and then have a rigorous regulatory framework mangioni yedegi as opposed to treat what they treat. And we can do this. We can do this. Kenya has got very brilliant people who have worked as researchers in different fields for a long time. Team. But as long as we are still importing medicines into the country, as long as we are still importing expertise into the country rather than building our own, these things will be expensive. Yeah. Koro kali new research. Hey, timore mang'eny kabisa. In the field of genomics, there are even cases where now we've started to look at cancer cell, but at a single cell level, just to know what is this single cell doing. Yeah, we've started looking at cancer not as an individual disease, but as an ecosystem. Tiendeni, what else is supporting this tumor? Nikachini wango we had this simplistic view of cancer that it's just cells growing uncontrollably. But Sani, we've realized that, and this is something that was realized maybe 10, 15 years ago, that it hijacks the whole system. It hijacks the whole system. Osomi, ochalo an enemy masomi, ongei nikecho dake dendi. It finds ways of evading your immune system. Your immune system cannot see it. It finds ways of making the immune system, for instance, support its growth rather than killing it if it cannot evade it. There's a lot that is happening, and we are also developing newer tools, kaka gene editing, maybe also CRISPR-Cas and so on. So there's a lot happening that I cannot speak about. But in simple terms, there's really a lot happening in this field, especially in the Western world. There's a lot. CAT therapy. CAT therapy, we realize that the most powerful system against cancer is your own immune system. Koro, gimora chiel mawasefwenyo ni ekunyalo paro biology uka. For an immune cell to kill a foreign thing, it had to bind to it. Teneni, it would recognize a certain foreign substance or a certain substance on the foreign body, bind to it, and then kill this foreign body. Koro gima cancer timo, it eliminates the expression of these substances on the surface where the immune cells can recognize. Koro, when the immune cells are patrolling, in cancer, be kalakal. Koro sani, what some researchers are doing, they get the cancer, they look at what is on the surface. When it doesn't express those immune tags, they express other things on the surface. Koro we go immune cells in your body, and then they include receptors that can recognize the new tags on that cancer cell, and then they re-inject it into your body. Koro these new immune cells could be injected to recognize that cancer cell, and then they kill it. But there's still a lot of clinical trials going on with that. But a lot is happening. Mawansa mineno podwa wacho wawacho kia ni wan shareholders kendo nakula mshere na nyama okoku ji timo gik moko ma we are literally behind ineno. Koro we need to catch up. So there's a lot of money here. There's really a lot of money here. Kami ketamana example of Denmark ka, the biotechnology industry kende ma is making cancer, diabetes, and some other chronic diseases drugs. Last year, in terms of Kenyan shillings, this industry contributed 4.5 trillion Kenyan shillings. This industry is only 12% of the Danish industry. 4.5 trillion, money is not even our budget. US, I cannot even talk about it. In the US, the biotechnology industry could feed Kenya for I don't know how many years. But you have to invest to get something out of it. These are discussions we need to be having. Okay. So, like I said before, one of the risk factors of cancer is aging. As you age, your cells have divided more. The check and balances when it's slightly tired. You start developing mutations, and then once you accumulate many mutations in your cells, they are likely to be cancerous. With nyithindo, tiendeni seche moko wan gi this inheritance pattern. Yeah. Seche moko in gi a defective gene in your body. And mostly this is seen with breast and ovarian cancers, and even some type of stomach cancer. You have a defective gene in your body that is not affecting you as a parent, but kidiyudo nyathi, you passed that defective gene to them. Koro inongo ka gini endi koro chako tiye ka otimore nade kapod otin. But for children, inwango ni the cancers that kill children mostly are blood cancers, either lymphoma or leukemia. Nikech one of the things mawa inherit kum jonyuolwa is also the blood type and whatever. Koro gigi komako nyithindo, although I will say ni nitiere some very good medicines especially ako kind manyalo konyo nyithindo, but in our context seche moko magi are things we are not well conversant with unless idake class moro koro ichako ng'eyo gigi. But yes, ber kata ka nyathini ka konyuol kin gi nyalo, to ber kata kitimo kata mana some genetic tests from the very beginning, ing'eyo ni ang'o marach gi nyathi. Nikech inyalo tero nyathi osiptal, ithiedho malaria, ithiedho pneumonia, ithiedho ang'o, to kare nyathi nigi leukemia kata nyathi nigi lymphoma. Ineno. Seche moko bende nitiere gimoro miluongo ni pediatric neuroblastoma. Tiende ni en cancer of the neuronal system ma ohero mako nyithindo. Mano endo bende it's a certain mutation ma can happen during the developmental process, yeah, and then something goes wrong. Maybe kamaro ne ogogi nyundo to chieng' no jago nyundo wiye no will, then it remains a problem. Koro ka nyathini dongo to that system is defective, and then koro giyudo gigi. So again, nyithindo matho gi cancer sani wanwango ni githo nikech chon child mortality was also very high nikech malaria nika, TB nika, all these measles, polio, ang'o, immunization bende ne onge maber. But nikech kanyo endo we have really improved as a country, the public health system, especially on the preventive part, mag childhood diseases. Kenya and her donors have really tried. Koro tiende ni gigi endi were there, but they were masked by the bigger problem of infectious diseases. Yeah? Koro emomiyo sani endi koro they are very glaring to us. And the other thing bende nyalo bedo ni ndalo kane watin to nitie gik moko mane pok ofwenyorenwa koro ok nwane. But koro tinde wabedo madongo, koro nitie gik moko mafwenyorenwa koro waneno. And because maybe in janyuol gigo kai, remo moro kai, koro you start seeing them. Yeah. But these things have been there with us time immemorial. I'm not for euthanasia or assisted death, but I'm for palliative care. Palliative care in any iloso some institutions makama joma tuo ma yath ok nyal konyo. Koro they are given very good care during their last days on earth. Ineno. Koro ginyalo bedo abeda kanyo ka en kowinjo pain to imiye morphine kata inyalo miye some other pain killers ochamo, but ngimane timore nade? Ngimane dhi mbele nikech euthanasia that will open a new and complex world of ethics and human life and so on and so forth. Koro I would say ni ka mama wu kata baba wu kata owadu kata ng'o oyudo cancer, arm yourself with information. But gima dwaro ni iwuo godo kaendi king'e ni cancer ok nyal thiedhi. Koro kik idhi us puodho, ius plode, ius ang'o ni paro ni biro thiedhe. Ok inyal thiedhe. You cannot cure cancer. You can only treat it. You can only manage it. Number 2, Kenya, one very good doctors. We have got very, very, very good doctors. But wambe wang'e mang'eny. Jo Kenya ong'eyo mang'eny kabisa. Ineno gima ok ilonye, tiling' aling'a ewe ng'ama olonye otimore nade? Nyisi. Nikech ng'ama olony no, obiro konyi. And I will tell you that public systems, and I will insist, public systems are very, very, very good with cancer. Kik idhi gik moko maneno ka tinde ng'ato yawa gimoro e kor yo ni cancer center. Do your research. Kendo anyalo recommend ni nitiere book mondik gi Wuod Siaya miluongo ni Dr. Professor Nicholas Abinya Otieno. He's a professor of medical oncology at University of Nairobi, kendo thietho Nairobi. He was the first board certified medical oncologist in Kenya. Ondiko book moro maber kabisa iluongo ni Shadow in Perpetuity. It's a story about his life treating cancer patients in Kenya and all the shenanigans he has seen through. Yes. Koro kik ng'ato wuondi ni nyalo thiedho cancer. An mana nyisi kaka ng'ama research gini. You can never treat it. Kata kwa gole, if you are lucky, it doesn't come back. If you're not lucky, it will come back. Yeah, koro manen gima nyaka ing'e kidak. Once you're a cancer patient, in a cancer patient nyaka chieng' itimri nade? Nyaka chieng' itho. Koro you just have to take care of yourself. Constant checks kagi kacha. Idhi full body scans, MRIs, ang'o. Invest in your health. Mia bich moro kata alufu moro ma Ruto dwaro mar NHIF cha chule. Kidhi hospital tiwacho ni dwaro scan, full body scan. Kagi kacha. I know we will improve. Ok wanyal dok chien, we will just improve. Healthcare ni kata sani ochendo kama, it will improve. And with time, ibro mana dhi hospital tiyudo full body scans, MRI. To kata kuma wadake, kuonde ma wadake, counties ma wantiere, magi the things monego bed mokoro wachako champion for. Wadwa neno these machines in our local hospitals. Wadwa neno experts in these places. Mondo ka ng'ato tuo, to in gi experts close to you. Ok ni thiedhi for months and months. Ithiedho pneumonia, ithiedho malaria to gini sik duoga. Yeah. So you need to arm yourself with information, but also trust the medical system. Our public medical system is very good. We just need to give it the trust that it deserves. And we give it the trust it deserves, not by praising it fully, but by saying what good they are doing, and where they're not doing good, bende wanyisogi. Wabedo ratiro, wanyisogi adiera, kama gikoso, to kama gitimo maber, bende wanyisogi adiera. Wapakogi, wakonogi ni ka utimo maber. Yeah, that is how we will develop this system so that it can serve us, our children, and our grandchildren.
Erokamano. Na in gi penjo kapok wamiyo nywera giniko.
An gi penjo. Apenjo ni jo conspiracy theory moko ma believe ni en koyudo cancer nikech ang'eyo ng'at mantiere gi cancer stage 2 cervix cancer to nowacho ni she's not doing those chemotherapy ang'o ni kochako gik ma kamago to bro tere mana marach to onge kaka odhi thiedho, koro wacho ni onge tiende ochak treatment and then koro odhi ka to kaka iluongo ga nang'o ineno jok moko mamulo ga ng'ato shaman, odhi ka shaman odhi ka shaman to ng'iyo dende to nyise en koro ko believe in doctors. Koro ada penjo ni to ka herbal medicine ni endi be itime research nikech nitiere jok ma believe ni herbal medicine is better than the pharmaceutical one, kaka kumutime research ni endi.
Imuonyo herbal medicine tibiro tho nikech ichamo herbal medicine ing'e ni en gang'o, ng'ama thiedho cancer ni no ong'e ni en ang'o. One, stage 1 and stage 2 cancers, mano nyiso ni cancer no pok spread from the primary organ. Ka en e thundi to pod en mana e thundi, ka en e cervix to pod en mana e cervix, ka en e lungs to pod en mana e lungs, pok spread kamoro. Stage 1 and stage 2 cancers, if you are lucky, if you are diagnosed at that stage, inyalo gole. Kaso koro itimo ni mana constant checkup, maybe every 6 months idok hospital titimo imaging, ing'iyo ka nitiere any growth anywhere that is not your normal growth. So ka ng'ato nigi stage 1 kata stage 2, mano anyalo wacho ni mano is a very good cancer nikech chances are ni pok spread. Chances are ni pok spread. Mano ng'ama onego bed ni itero hospital to itimo ne surgery, igolo gigo, timiye yath manyalo konye, to odhi dala to yueyo, to odhi adhiya mbele gi maisha ne. But koro odok hospital for checkup 6 months or 1 year, depending on what the primary physician will say. Nikech once gisegolo gisetimo ni surgery, that tumor will be staged. To gibro ng'iyo ni en stage mane, to possibility of spread, ere organs monego bed no dhiye, and those are the organs mabiro bedo checked, biro bedo monitored constantly. Koro kik ng'ato nyisi ni dhi ka shaman or keni dhi ka herbalist, mano nyathiwa, mano ng'ama dwa negi, mano ng'ama dwa weyo ni, ng'ama dwa ni mondo iwe chamo kuon gomena, iwene kare mondo koro cham, mano ng'ama dwa negi. Dhi hospital, go to the hospital. Herbal medicine kidwa madho, inyalo madhe amadha bang' wuok hospital, but mar daktari cha nikech mano ng'ama osomo gino. Ing'eni chal ka gima idwa dhi London from Nairobi, tikoni adhi tiyo gi helicopter moro ma jala Laikipia cha noloso, but gima Boeing gi Airbus oloso okidwa. Yeah, but that is the truth. Koro shaman ok nyal thiedhi and so on. Shaman ok nyal thiedhi, mano ng'ama wuondi. Afadhali kin gi yie to go chongi pinyoli ilam, yie gi faith ni ma in godo no, Nyasaye seche moko Nyasaye nyalo konyi. Nyasaye has a higher chance of thiedhi moingo shaman kata herbal medicine. Yeah.
Hey. Erokamano Dr. Oria. Erokamano kabisa, koro odwa yawo pap kae. To nikech aparo ni ma en topic ma ji ohero kabisa, akwan joma donjo e penjo ni ai. Donjo direct e penjo, ka en gi context matin, igo context matin, lakini we jalonyo duoki maber. Koro Onywera, and then wabro miyo Niko osewuok ka, wabro miyo Narendra after Onywera. Alafu nano ka, Niko pod ni kae mos Niko. Onywera, Niko, and then Narendra, nano ka Irene bodonjo ka Irene bro wuoyo go mondi.
Erokamano daktari. Erokamano Victor kuom puonj makare. Aneno ka ija St. Agnes, mano ber kabisa. Koro an gi penjo ariyo.
Chako jaba mage Omera, donje question. St. Agnes to ng'a?
An gi penjo ariyo. Mokwongo, bentiere connection moro amora kuom cervical cancer kod HIV and AIDS, and then malignant cells gi relationship gi scary. Be nitiere any relationship? Maybe ka nitiere inyalo expand on that. Erokamano.
Okay. A connection between cervical cancer and HIV and AIDS. Nyalo bedo, but poka winjo. I don't think the HIV virus can cause cervical cancer. Maybe there are cases, but poka winjo, koro kanyalo wacho. But cervical cancer and HIV, ginyalo bedo gima nyalo luongo ni comorbid diseases. Nikech cervical cancer primarily is caused by a virus miluongo ni HPV. And HPV virus ni iyudo seche ma ji wuotho gi laptop koni gi koni, ineno. Nyiso ni the virus can be transmitted, and that virus can also be transmitted with the HIV virus. Koro these diseases ariyo gi ginyalo bedo ginyalo live together, but the HIV virus does not cause cervical cancer. Mano penjo no. Penjo mar ariyo, link between malignant cells and sugar. Again, it is very difficult to find that connection. Yeah? Gima nyalo wacho ni malignant cells, they have got very high energy needs. Because they have got high energy needs, it means they require a lot of glucose or sugar to make this energy. So mano will be the relationship, but mano will be at the molecular level. But kaponi madho kramna sukari mang'eny, mano will not. I don't think that will give you cancer or anything. Yeah. Aparo ni duoki maber onywera to St. Agnes en primary mane wasome. Koro maybe emomiyo wacho kamano.
Nang'eyo nagoye mana bom nikech nawacho ni ji odonje question ochako ni ne wamadho nyuka St. Agnes, ne okete sukari. Anyway, ero kamano jonyakach. Koro niko jafa extinguisher wach penja ni penjo ma in go siepa.
Erokamano James. Koro an gi penjo to Victor. Number one, there was this lady nobody diagnosed with cervical cancer in Kisumu, and then after diagnosis okone nikoro onegone laktar mondo chak, I don't know those procedure, and then nitiere ng'ama nochako miye some advice ni obi KNH be kendo timne diagnosis machielo. Then in fact by then nitiere sometime abe en ga gi blood and all that. Koro kaka nobiro KNH otimne diagnosis oyud ni oonge cancer, oonge cervical cancer. Koro an penjo neni between because this is a serious thing, somebody can start going through the treatment yet oonge go. Kaka in her situation, like in fact that month nochako dhero marach kabisa until obiro otimne gine diagnosis kae, ochako timne kendo mar ariyo kasto ore Eldoret otimne kendo diagnosis machielo. Koro these two, the third one still oyudo ni oonge go. Koro what happened, because up to date okwang'eyo gimano timo ka the Kisumu doctors say ni en gi cervical cancer, yet these other doctors say ni oonge go, because this is something which can happen to anybody. Mano number one. Number ariyo, ibuoga ahinya kiwacho ni kako isebedo gi cancer, no treatment, and no there is nothing like treatment. I mean, let me ask you one thing. For example, otim surgery. Surgery ok nyal konyo cancer patients like the treatment. Can it not be a form of treatment, because you talked about only management? Koro nikech because somebody can, if coupled en surgery en cancer minyalo timne surgery, ng'ato nyalo uso puothe moro kasto timne surgery kasto ochangi in that form. And also let me ask, for example, in these other leaders mawang'eyo mawayudo ni they have cancer, but you can see some of them, yes, it's visible that koro odrain gi kabisa, but some of them even you need this person has cancer, but you can't see it. Odhi maber, movement mare ber, activities mage ber. Wanyalo wacho ni gin gi chango, kose pod that thing is there, only that gitimo management. And then number dek matieko godo, do we have this strong chemotherapy treatment? Kod ma ok en strong, because I have a friend, unfortunately,
Niko akwai nia ni
yes.
bed precise gi penjo gi mondo wadhi mbele.
A bit precise, okay, apenjo penjo ariyo. Achaka nuo penjo manyien.
Akwayo nia ni koro kise penjo kimedo ni koro because is my friend motimo kama alafu wacho ni the doctors notimo kama mano koro imedo mang'eny. Penjo alafu we doctor oduoki.
Okay, yes, natemo mane elaborate mondo daktari owinj maber, so that at least onyalo yudo context of what I'm talking about. But we are tiek number 3. Adhiaka tieko number 3. Do we have the strong chemotherapy treatment or the light chemotherapy treatment? Because I had a friend, this context might chiwo so that the doctor can understand it well, yeah, James. Because I had a friend who, unfortunately, he lost the dad, but the dad, the treatment manimie, he was being given strong chemotherapy treatment. So I want to understand that context.
Okay. Nico, those are very good questions. So I'll start with the first one. It's always important to get a second opinion, because cancer is it's a chronic condition. En gimi dak godo nyaka chieng. Koro ka ng'ato nyisi kidhi hospital to nyisi ni in gi cancer, it's good to go to a second hospital, get an independent diagnosis, and then probably again go to a third one and get a diagnosis. Then koro gima ji adeko nyisi ni in godo, mano you know you have it. For this case of the lady from Kisumu, what could have happened seche moko kama pathology, maybe there was a mix-up of samples. Koro omiye results mar ng'at machielo. To maybe ng'at machielo nonyisi ni onge cervical cancer, to maybe en gi cervical cancer. Koro it's always important to get a second or a third opinion, and especially in different places. So somebody seek this opinion. I pray that you go to a public facility. Public facility of biwiti. Public facility of biwiti. Private facility. And katamane book mana nyiso uno. Abinya talks of people who are told they have cancer, you start treatment, kari yonge cancer. Nike Kenya wasebedo ni $1 of pesa at any cost. So go to public facility. And then daktari mathiedi gin joma beyo, okobiwiti, obro nyisi adier, kori winje. Second thing, no kawacho ni cancer cannot be treated. No wacho ni cancer cannot be cured. Those are two different things. Inyalo treat it, you cannot cure it. Kitimo ni surgery, nitiere gimoro miluongo ni margins. Tiende ni igoi picha ting'iyo kuma cancer no nitiere. Kaso ka daktari dhi timo surgery, titemo gol the cancer along those margins mogor. But sometimes the drawings of those margins are not very effective. Koro seche moko idong' gi gimoro miluongo ni residual disease. Depending on the level of the disease modong, nikech seche moko cancer no odhi grow to mako nerve moro mok nyal ng'adi. Koro tiende ni iweye nerve no. Nikech kogol nerve no seche moko ok inyal wuotho. Kogol nerve no seche moko maybe iti konchiel odino, and so on and so forth. Koro those are all those things, all those decisions go before they do a surgery for you. Koro yes, again, mine winjo daktari. Now actually ka in stage 1 and stage 2 cancer, chances are that it has not spread. And if it has not spread, it can easily be removed by surgery. But that does not mean that you are cured. It means in under something we call remission. Tiende ni in gi cancer but okodongi, or in gi cancer but oleng. Koro you have to go for checkup every now and then, depending on what your doctor says, for a period of time. After that period, then daktari nyalo ng'isi ni we don't think it's going to come back. Nikech mano lony gi, mano gima ging'eyo. Koro gibiro nyisi ni suddenly now you don't need any more tests. Waparo ni gino watimore nade? Gino watieko. But kidhi hospital to koni ni in gi pancreatic cancer, to osedhi e liver, to osedhi e lungs, to entiere lymph nodes, tidwa dhi uso puothi. Mano ng'ama ng'isi kamano, mano ng'ama wuondi. Mano ng'ama dwa nocham pesa ni, nikech ong'e ni tho, koro odwa nocham achama pesa no. Mano ok nyal kony. You cannot be helped with that. And then mogik miwacho mar strong chemotherapy and light chemotherapy. Kanyo to I cannot speak about it nikech I would be even lying to myself. Nanyalo duoko mano okanyal duoko, because I don't understand the context.
Very good. To duoko miduoko mogik no aparo ni en a very mature answer. To dhika mani wacho cha ni gik mikia ti wacho ni kia. To mano wayie ni kanyi duoko maber. To kamano, you've lived the example right here, right now. I want to acknowledge the Godfather. Nikit the Godfather has been doing this in many sessions. Mawa bedo godo mar serious. Ondiko synthesized notes in the chat. To kamano ainya. To koro we can retweet those. The low space, you can retweet those if you get an opportunity. Kata Dr. Victor, ibinyalo retweet those kata while I'm hosting this session. Tomero kamana neno kidonjo kanyo, neno the Robnet, neno Juma kanyo be, agibe neni be, Popa neno ute, yembe pin, Godswill, ngamoka lungu nyinge ngeni waneni to, wageni kabisa to kamano kumbire bodo. Now atoning abiru next, Omundi, I don't know, Irene mana miyo thulo mabiro. Koro Irene, alafu obro miyo na Rendri, alafu Omundi. Irene.
Yes. What I can say, cancer is a very personalized disease. To kaka ubro ti ya upogore. There are other inherent factors edendi, other genetic factors edendi, kata kakidak. Ingeni ka cancer yudi, so in a middle income earner, seche moko idak kamaber, air conditioning chami e ot, iwinjo maber. To ka cancer yudi to in ng'ama odak e slum, kata mana pi maler minyalo modho seche moko onge, hygiene onge, gigo compound the disease. It is also a mental state, or affect your mental state. If your mental state is not okay, bende gino timore nade, the disease nyori. But ka in the good family support, in the maybe good job, good insurance, tiwinjo gima daktari wacho, you'll just do okay. A good doctor will tell you the truth. A good doctor bro nyisi ni gini ok wanyal thiedho. Koro get your affairs in order. Kapo ni idwa pogo ne nyithindi puothe, kata idwa pogo ne nyodendi ni puothe, chak timo sani. Kik irit nyaka koro inyori. Kik ius giri ni idhi thiedhe nikech ok inyal thiedhe. To kidhi 2-3 doctors to miyi the same diagnosis, then ng'eni jogo ok nyal wuondi. So but in your life giminyalo timo, bed active, inyalo ringo, ng'i gimi chamo, jok ma madho jik kata tini luonge nang'o mzinga, ibet otieno imadho mzinga 3-4, ng'eni you're just predisposing yourself to these things. Gik kamoro ma koro ichako dak ka ng'ama dhano, koro ng'ama Nyasaye nochweyo gi kido mare gi rieko mar Nyasaye. Koro gi kata kimadho gi, imadho mana glass 2 tidhi tinindo, gima biro timi onge. To kidwa madho chupni 3 every night, in imadho chupni 3, to kiny in gi stomach cancer, kiny in gi colorectal cancer, in ema ihinyori kendi. Koro mana kaka mama wacho ni your body is my temple, take care of it. Mane message manyalo pass. Your body is God's temple, take care of it.
Kamano. And Nukabel, if in case you did not know, you're not checking the chat, people are giving you a lot of accolades. And I know Robnet on the Kokata ni you teach maber, Kataba ye kabisa ni you teach maber. Koromano mateni se chemoko ngeni warie kabisa okone go beni wadi mabor manyo jarie ko manyalo miyo weche makama to gono wagone Nyasaye kamano. Okay, Omondi Yembe Olunga. No, actually I'm sorry. Omondi Juma Yembe and then Olunga. Juma Brubiro Bang Omondi. Omondi.
Erokamano daktari. Aduoko erokamano ne daktari Victor kuom puonjo makende. Erokamano ahinya, puonjo maber. And I don't know whether it's a comment or it's a question, but anyway, ibiro respond kaka inyalo. Awinjo kaka iwacho wach my research and testing, and you are talking about the environment. You talk about Western Nyans and all those kind of stuff. And I was just thinking about during the COVID time, itemo manyo yedhe mag COVID, there were rumors, or I don't know whether it was too politicized. There were some tests mani biro tim Mombasa, kumji Mombasa, and it was so politicized. People were thinking that the West trying to use Africans to do some of the tests. But winjo kendo kiwacho kaka we should localize our environment test so that we can know what is good for which particular region and which particular region, what we need to do, how to tweak the medication we have to localize our community, to our local communities. And I also remember recently we were trying to get a genetic test for our little one here. And the doctors said they don't have much data from African continent. And this is because of a lack of, I think, those testing. So what is your take on this Nika Biotimo research, like that one, which was COVID time, and it was more kind of like politicized? What can you tell us, or what can tell people to embrace such kind of a thing when a test, or when people are doing some research, like you, a researcher, Biotimo researcher local, to people not look at it politically, but look at it in a way that at the end of the day, this is going to benefit the local community, because we need data from the local people so that the medication Mabedo laws can be used in a particular region. So how can we just try to tweak our mind a little bit? We stop thinking about politicizing everything, and also when it comes to sciences like Magugi, Wanyalotimo, Erokamano.
Hey, Omondi, that's a very good question. We have to look at this from a historical context. In the past, communities or poorer countries, developing world, was abused in terms of medical research. Inwang'o ka nitiere gimoro miluongo ni parachute research. Ng'ato dak New York, but o research malaria in Ochotodong. Ochotodong ni pok onene kata owinje awinja. Koro sani, what the kind of research I'm advocating for is a research where the community knows what you are researching. It's important to have the community as stakeholders. Yeah. So, number one, cut off the barriers that exist. Inenorini ininmalo to gin piny, kata ining'eyo, kata gin gikia. Seche moko, in the kind of research we do, inwang'o ka context makata ng'ato nodake can give you an answer. But if you don't understand that context, then you can never get that answer because you don't live in their reality. Koro, local research is very important and I champion it, but it should be done with dignity, with responsibility, and there should be that aspect of communicating back to the community where you did this research. Kidi katamana cho assemble, did timo a specific, wayudogarani assemble, giving a specific type of throat cancer. To mako gi mana kanyo. Seche moko bando magimuodo lo nitiere gi some chemical ma cause gini, for example. Koro kidhi kanyo to isetimo research niti yudo that data. Mondo mi kony kiseloso yath to chien kube nyaka iduogi inyis jogi ni gini kaka ne watime wanwang'o ni ei loka nitie gimoro mantie ei loka to lobni upidhe bando to gini donje bando. Koro weuru pidho bando, pidhuru bel, kata upidho oganda, kata upidh njugu nikech gini ok nyal donjo njugu kata bel kata ng'o. Now that is research that is helping the community and society. And the same case with medical research. So mibiro kata matimo clinical trials egweng. Kise collect the data, kise collect kata mana the biopsies, blood, urine and so on. Kise the timo analysis, you publish your paper in a very prestigious journal, let it not end there. Go back to that community. Thank them. Tell them, Nina biroka, nwatimo kama, to magi gik mane wayudo. Shida moro wan godo as scientists, and it's a field that I'm trying to also break into, is science communication to the public. Kaka koro gima koro watemo timo kani. A lot of scientists don't do this. Koro inwang'o ka we are seen as people living on an ivory tower, ji ok ong'eyo gima watimo. And I even always try to also encourage some of my doctor friends. Kata kuthiedho ji, seche moko dhiuru kata gi medical camp e gweng', but ok nudhi thiedho ji, udhi pimone apima ji, even the process of thieth, because then you put trust into the system. Miyo kata ka ng'ato, jok madhi India gi, koro ok gibi timore nade, ok gibi dhi India. Nikech ging'e ni, daktari cha nobiro ka, to nopimonwa kama. Koro kodhi osiptal, an James ema rito, ng'ato ok thiedha, nikech nobiro to pimona gicha mawinjo, to mano e gima tima. So this is also something that our professionals, especially in the medical field, in the research field, we need to do. Going back to these communities, thanking them, explaining to them what we did, why we did it, what were the results, and is there any help they can get out of this. Maneka koro ibro neno ka koro communities start becoming receptive to research, and we will get rid of the political biases. Kendo ber kaponi Victor Anyakach in this particular village, to ber ka Victor eman dhi kanyo, not somebody from Kilifi, nikech mano ng'ama ok gibi trust. Koro ber ka, and you see it's being championed now in the field of global health. They're trying to eliminate something called parachute global health research. Kama ng'ato ni kuma bor to timo research kumoro nono, okia jogo, pokoneno gi, but he or she is writing papers and getting grants in their name, yet he doesn't even know those people. Koro there's more incorporation of local experts, jomodak kanyo, kata jomar hailing from that area or from the country, to drive such kind of research. Nikech mago koro miyo those people a face, miyo gi humanity and dignity. Watiek gi kanyo.
Erokamano Dr. James. Erokamano Victor gi jogo mosebiro ka. Adonjo mana matin mondo agree gima Victor wacho, mosebedo kowacho. Nikech antie gi some few cancer patients ma konyo financially, but out of them onge koro mosethiedhi minyacho ni koro osethiedhi. Gina jok ma gigigo eko dok mana chien to sama tin after that gina under medication. Unfortunately, two of them one passed this year, the other one passed last year. And gimane Victor wacho again ma awinjo ka that is true, ni use of public hospitals. Mana pani kata mana other doctors be advised. Last week, my mom has been admitted for a week now, and what transfer from Rachuonyo District Hospital to Aga Khan in Kisumu. But one doctor just came and told us, Amera, he could transfer me to that private hospital. This situation little bit worse, and unyalo bit unfortunate, unyalo lale anytime. I don't recommend you to take her there. And Koron decided no to the district hospital, but apparently improve well and all that. So apparently people need to also we need to start having trusting the public hospitals. I think that is what we really need to go by. And with cancer issues, I think there is nothing much more but mana medications mimi ogigo eko and all that. Kataka kobedi keyword, but sustenance mareno is also very good. But I also agree we don't need to kaw mwandu mang'eny mondo wakete gimwang'eyo ni maybe ok wabi end go up ni wayude back. But mwandu matin wanyalo tiyogo a public hospital and get the best from the public hospital cheaply. Thank you, Victor.
Kenny be in giri battle kanyo Victor kapok wamiyo yembe kata ka in gi reflection.
No, gima Jono wacho no en adier, and let's trust public systems. Gitiyo kabisa. And personal story, Dawa is 97 now. So last year, nenegi some paid. Ma kora luongo daktari moro maja private. Mara na private clinic gweng'wa kanyo. Koro kodhi onene to pime malaria, pneumonia. Imiye yedhe go, ichuo, imede pi, ang'o. Koro second week gini oduogo. Second week the pain is here. Third week kamano. Tapenjo ni yato. Ng'ani endi achula. Kong'eni NHIF bing'eni ok okaw. Wawacho ni NHIF ok chul ji. Koro we are paying out of pocket. Nikech dani oti. Ok wadwa tere paponditi. Koro chieng' moro awacho ni yawa. We wakaw dayo water paponditi. Bwana daktari no, koro ing'eni dawa bende kodhi kucho, to embe wacho ni nyakwara be ing'eni daktari ni loka. Bwana daktari no nodhaw na. Nokona ni nyanya yako ameniambia wewe pia ni daktari na umemwacha nyumbani anakufa. Nikamwambia hapana, kulikuwa na daktari anamtibu nyumbani. Nikamwambia those are quacks. They were treating this woman for malaria and pneumonia, but your grandmother nigi cervical cancer. But kama at her age ok nyal timne any surgery. Koro en mana ng'at ma imiyo mana yedhe mag rem. En 97 ko tere pala to en ng'ama dhi tho e mesa. Koro imiye mana yedhe ma kwene rem. But ng'acha nikech noyudo ka bath iye konchiel osetop. But ng'acha to kobiro to pneumonia gi malaria imedi pi timiyi kia diclofenac and sijui what and what. Ng'ano nokona ni vile tu uko mbali, but dina deal kodi properly. Kel dau public hospital timore nade tiyo. Wan ok nwatere kuno nikech waneno no ti, ok wadwa ni mondo odhi obed hospital, nyalo nege. But ever since she went there, kendo dayo ing'ino osebedo maber malich. Omuonyo mana yedhe go to daka. Kata sani nawinjo ni osinjo njugu. To machacha to ok nonyal. So, public hospital, I will reiterate, teruru ji e public hospital. And you follow up, ing'eyo. Idhi kacha ti follow up. Gima gitimo maber ikono gini daktari, hapa mnafanya vizuri. Lakini hapa, hamfanyi vizuri. Tudhi mbele. Gigi nyaka walos mana kendwa. Yes. Hey, penjo maigi tek yembe. Yes, but I will start. Okay. So, yeah, I and some other cancer biologists from Kenya, we co-founded an organization called Integrated Cancer Research Foundation of Kenya. And we started this organization because we realized that molecular research in the country is non-existent, or even if it's there, it's very limited. Koronwachako this organization so that we build up a profile, and then in the near future, wang'iyane ka wanyalo bedo gi our own institute somewhere, area ma Western Kenya ka. Wadwa ni mondo, in fact, kata sani wamanyo lowo moro ma wanyalo lay a foundation. And then we can build this center, have labs, and then bring in scientists from all over the world, but then to start doing molecular cancer research in our context. Or if you just Google Cancer Research Foundation, cancerresearchkenya.org, cancerresearchkenya.org, ibro yudowa, ibro neno wakanyo. Nwachako ndalo COVID, so we have not done much, but we've also done much. Gima nwatimo as we are still trying to put things in order was a lot of awareness sessions. And we tried to make our awareness sessions more scientific, more technical, by trying to say the kind of things mina nawacho kaini. Ni kituo, the hospital, we madho habol. Kituo, we dir jaruecho, yani ngato no kwanyo tienda, kata kia ngato timango. No, go to the hospital. That's the kind of awareness we are trying to drive. Koro, this organization is a non-profit organization, and we hope that by the time Anyasai Luongoa, it will be a legacy that will probably live for the people of Western Kenya. Kanyasai Omedawanda low-code resources. We hope to do this. And we will also be coming, we hope to follow the model, Maneno Kitimo Okakaindi. where we could go to Kisumu or Kakamega, do a marathon, but it's a marathon for collecting funds to do research on cancer in those regions. Katawanyalo lungo ji 10,000 shillings per plate dinner, but to collect money to do research. Nikech ng'iewo reagents, ng'iewo machines, they're not cheap. But then with that, sell also our base, then we can start and then going to these foundations. Wangis gini kargero cho gi gero classroom achiel, tinyalo support research kaindi. Kata inyalo biro gero nwa floor achiel to wacho ni this is Tom Oyer floor for cancer research. Kata ma is kata ma is John Juma center for so and so. Gima kendo watemo wadwani mondo wa explore in the near future. Oko kaendi waneno gimoro timore, especially in the US. Inwang'o ka very wealthy people kosepogone nyithinde pesa moro matin, to pesa modong' otimo gimoro ni endowment. Iwacho ni pesa ni adwa miyo Victor, but koro ibiro luonge ni John Juma, kata Victor Oria, John Juma Professorship of Breast Cancer Genetics. Because John Juma is interested in breast cancer genetics. Koro miyowa pesa and we try to find or do research on things that really affect communities. Koro mane model ma watemo timo gi this organization. And we are having our first cancer research symposium at Kenyatta University from 6th to 8th of December. Koroka in Kenya, and you want to learn more about what we are trying to do, inyalo again to this on my timeline. I'm always posting about the symposium. Inyalo the symposium kanyo. You can register, come attend, and let's talk about cancer. Second question, mani wacho mar biobanks. Yes, it is important to have biobanks. Nikech we are using retrospective tissues. What you get tissues but we use their tissues to learn more about cancer and probably help the next patient. In one way or another, that tissue could bear a similar disease to a patient who is still alive. Koro biobanks, I know that some hospitals are trying to do them, but problem mawan godo ni hospitals wamang'eny mineno miluongo ni kiani referral, research and teaching. They are not referral and they are not research and they are not even teaching. Enena nying momi hospital because enena building moger kanyo maduong' nikech ng'ato ng'eyo ni kogero room achiel ka Rembe kocho gero room achiel. Kogero rooms ariyo koni to kocho gero achiel gi nus and so on. But a hospital it's not just a building. It is things like this. And especially for cancer, biobanks are very important. Yes, atemo matek to see if we can do this. But nikech podan mabor, it's very difficult to deal with Kenyan public servants kain mabor. Tiji tek kabisa. Moko don't read emails. Moko probably don't even respond to letters or anything that you do. Koro giniendi, emineno kane wachako this organization. Wadwani wachak timo gimoro kendwa koni, mondo kata koro wadhi serikal, to wan gi gima wanyalo nyisogi. Nikech kama society wa kama wantiere, a lot of people holding these offices, ng'ato dwaro gima chamo. Ka onge gima chamo to ok onyal winjo wachni. Obro dhi winjo ng'ama miye gimoro. Okay, penjoni mar adek was on variations of cancer by ancestry. Of course, depending on where you live and where you come from, you have a specific type of cancer. Now, actually, like in the Meru region, stomach cancer prevalence is quite high in that region. This is based on a study that was done by somebody who was working in palliative care center in Meru. In this palliative center, their disease, most of them had stomach cancer. Koro kibiro Kericho, Narok area, Nandi Hills ka, esophageal cancer is very high. Some people say it's because of the mursik they drink. Some people say it's because of chai maliet or whatever. I personally don't think that's the case. That could just be a risk factor, but I think there's an underlying genetic thing that is going on in those populations. Because mago are relatives. Kingio ginjok ma share an ancestry. Because there's an underlying genetic thing, Mati Morenade, ma henyogi. And it goes also to what you were saying. Nikibiro North America, and even in places like England and France. Tibronwanka, black men are more predisposed to prostate cancer than men of a similar age in continental Africa. There again, it could be an epigenetic thing. Maybe kumagidake, chiemo magichamo, or maybe weather, temperature. There are so many things. You cannot really pin it on any one thing until you do a full genetic screen, a full molecular phenotyping to actually understand what is happening. It can have prostate cancer ni or can type achiel. Ntie moro miluongo ni androgen positive, ntie moro miluongo ni androgen negative, ntie moro miluongo ni castration resistant. Koro ging'eny, and depending on where you are and certain underlying genetic factors, you will have a certain type of prostate cancer that will respond to this type of therapy and probably not respond to another type of therapy and so on. Yeah. Koro yes, aparo ni aduoko penje yembego maber. Kapo ni wiyo wil gimoro to maybe unyalo reminder. Erokamano.
Erokamano, Dr. James. Actually, he nearly answered what I wanted to ask. Nikeche, the last point Mani Wachono, I was just looking at when you're mentioning about the areas there are some common cancers, kaki wacho wach ginene meruno. And I'm looking at things, it could be in line of misinformation or what, because there are things jichinde wacho ni are related to probably are causing cancer. Gik Mosebe mentioned, but I can just say one, asbestos, because there's been a campaign to remove them from the roofs tinde. There's a way there's some causing some cancers. And then I think Dr. James cannot relate to this, but back then, nitie simbe moko miluongo ni Siemens. To kiketo gimoro ma red ye wiye kanyo, to liel many colors. So we were told, radiation. Mongo is predisposing us to cancer. So I just wanted you to answer it in line with, is it misinformation? And then if not, what is the other bit many team in terms of education and awareness on prevention and what to avoid? Thank you.
Yes, mago penjo maber kabisa. I think just like COVID suffered from misinformation, cancer bende is suffering from misinformation. Nikech tinde ng'ata manigi gimiluongo ni smartphone ni ong'eyo gimoro amora. Koro emana wacho ni seche moko gimokilonye tiling' iwe ng'ama olony timore nade konyi. Koro cancer misinformation is very high. Ndalo moko nasomo otas moro manobedo published miwacho ni kichamo kuon maliet tiyudo breast cancer. I failed to understand how that those two are related. But it was published that, and the problem is we don't understand the difference between risk factors, causation, and correlation. There can be a correlation, ni joma chamo kuon maliet, nigi breast cancer, but ok tiende ni kuon maliet ema cause breast cancer, and so on. Aparo ni utemo winjo kaka atwek kanyo. Yeah. So cancer misinformation is very high, and it's also one of the things that our research institute, research foundation, is trying to go and is trying to remedy. Money is one of the areas that we'll be focusing on a lot as part of one of our research pillars: cancer communication, cancer literacy, cancer health literacy, and so on. Mondo, when you get this information, you get the right information he combined manuendo called information ma daktari me, so you are well armed so that you don't fall prey to conspiracy theories, or you don't fall prey to Reddit and influencers manyalo wacho gimoro amora just for the sake of making money. And nitiere nyako manopenjo ni cancers that cause blood clots. I don't know. I don't think if I've heard that. But what I can say ni maybe some cancers, maybe one of the symptoms could be blood clots, especially if they are blood cancers. Some the blood cancers okay, they affect blood cells, and when they're in the circulatory system, they block the small arterioles, kata venules, kata capillaries, and then maybe in the blockages or clogs. But in my area of research, or even my reading about cancer, so I cannot respond to that with a lot of certainty or surety. Thank you.
Kamano daktari, adwa penjo daktari Victor, penjna biro bedo related gi gima ji tieko godo ni, but anto I think is from what I've experienced masabedo godo lately gi mama na to gi ng'ato machiegni koda bende. Adwa penjo daktari ni to over exposure to radioactive nini machalo kaka x-ray, ng'ato mosebedo kata kane gi hinyruok kata ajali kata ni ma ogore mang'eny, koro osetimne x-ray mang'eny. Awach ni in my lifetime kabedo mano mama na monyuola osetere x-ray for over 10 times if I'm, but lately koko ni mama nyochi gori piny onego wateri mondo dhi ogine, and she's like no gigo bro miya kata daktari wuon kadhi to kwera ni koro tinde otera x-ray mang'eny. How can you ere kaka inyalo advise about cancer and x-ray relate kako relate gi x-ray? Is there any relation?
En penyo matek. But from what I know is that X-rays give out certain beams. So gingi kinyalo paro your knowledge in physics. Non photons, and they contain a certain amount of energy. Kuro everybody or the human cells gintiere gi a certain threshold of energy that they can absorb, or they can be exposed to, beyond which then you can cause mutations, or you can cause irreparable damage. Gima X-ray timo seche moko, that energy goes and causes DNA breaks, and when your DNA is broken, it needs to be repaired. It's one constant long string. Koro, if you're overexposed to X-ray, you'll have many of these breaks. And because that puts pressure on the repair system, if you do it frequently, then you're putting more pressure on your system, and there are chances some repair system might not occur well, and then that might lead to serious mutations that then cause diseases. Whether this will eventually lead to cancer is something else, but it's a known risk factor. Yeah, exposure to radiation beams or X-ray beams, that's a known risk factor if you ever expose yourself to it. Koro kama most of the X-ray mang'eny, the doctors are just right to, because kagin gi medical history mare to ging'eyo ni this patient oseyudo this amount of dosage during this period, ok ber kwatimore nade, ok ber kwatimo wamede this kind of dosage. So there could be some truth in that, but then again, nitiere joma osetiyo gi X-rays all their life, but never really got cancer. Koro gini it's an enigma. Ineno kaka wachoga ni baba is an enigma. Cancer ni bende en mana enigma. Nitie gik mang'eny ma wang'eyo, nitiere gik mang'eny mabende watimore nade wakia. Yeah. So and what we know is very, very, very small compared to what we don't know. Almost every day, new papers are being published. There are some very interesting results being shared with the scientific community and so on. But still, rather than solving the problem, it makes it even more complex than we knew it before. Yes, but there's some truth to this exposure to X-ray or overexposure to X-ray and cancer causation. Yes. Yes. Last comment, Katieko, the kind of questions you are very, very interesting and very, very, very open-ended. I really enjoyed responding to them, and I will say spend a day or two a week sama in kata mana gi internet iweyo dala kata yen. Just read a little bit here and there about cancer. You can you are knowledgeable people kaluwore gi penjo mupenjo, so you can also find very well written papers on different topics about cancer. Just to arm yourself with this knowledge. Ok walem ni mondo yudi, but onyalo yudi. Koro ko yudi to ber ka itimori nade iikori mondo you don't panic. Second, seek first, second, third opinion. Bear and go to public facilities. They have everything that you need. And winj penjo ma daktari. Kendo winj gima daktari wacho. Don't be more knowledgeable than the doctor. Kik inyis daktari ni, an gosiepna moro man loka, bro wacho kama. An ok athiedh ji. Kendo gima daktari ong'eyo manyalo thiedho godo patient, an ok anyal ng'eyo. I only know from my end the kind of research matimo, and then the rest is just the little knowledge that I gather here and here when I do my own personal reading. Koro ka daktari onyisi ni gini endi ok onyal konyo, to winja. Kik ibukri dhi dala koro idwa uso lo, idwa uso ang'o, ni baba na ni nyaka kony, no. Konyo baba en being the custodian of the truth. Ng'eyo ni gini endi ng'ato nowacho ni it cannot be cured. To daktari ni mabe koro thiedho baba kata mama be osewacho ni gini ok nyal timore nade, ok nyal bedo cured. Koro onge tiende mondo wamanya wawinj gima ginyisowa mondo wa follow that. Yes, other than that, agoyo erokamano kuom rwaka, and I hope that we can do more of this some other time. Ero uru kamano.